Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's Jillian and Shad from Mad Dog Armory, and you're watching Tactical Talk. We're super excited to be here. Thank you for joining. I say too all the time. We are, like I said, very excited to be here. We're on episode 5.
Yep.
I mean,
5.
How exciting is that? We appreciate you guys watching, and super excited to be here. We basically talked last week about silencers. Shad did a great job about that. So if you've not caught some of our other previous shows, 1 through 4, definitely check those out. And you can find us on WeBeam TV, YouTube. Up on your screen is a bunch of our
social media platforms.
Media platforms. Definitely like and share. We talk about topics that are really important for the community, about firearms, education, different products. So we're very excited to have that opportunity to do that.
Right.
Tactical Talk came about from WeBeam TV, came to us and wanted a gun show or a talk show. Streaming, I never really know what to call this because it's a streaming, I want to say podcast, but
It's not a podcast.
It's not a podcast.
A vlog.
A vlog?
A video blog.
Oh, is that a word? Did you make that up or is that a thing? I don't know. Okay, so whatever it is a streaming podcast. Or vlog. Okay, if I'm saying vlog and that's not really a word, I'm going to be upset. Okay, it's really a vlog. Okay.
Right, Rob?
Yes, okay, it's a vlog. Okay, that's funny. It's weird to even say it, vlog. Okay, back to the show. So, you can follow us on social media, Facebook. I think we stream it live,
yes.
And like I said, our YouTube channel.
Friday nights, 6 o'clock.
Yes.
Be here.
Thank you for saying that, because I forgot to say when we're here. So Friday at 6 p.m. From 6 to 7. And tonight's show, I'm very excited about popular concealed carry guns, because that is definitely something, especially here in our local market of Tampa Bay.
The gun-shine state.
The gun-shine state, very good.
Yeah.
2.5 million concealed carry holders.
And counting.
And counting, yes. We do a lot of concealed carry classes at our locations in the Tampa Bay market.
Yep.
And so it's definitely and counting. So we brought a bunch of different kinds of concealed carry guns for you to talk about, pros and cons and different features and things like that. And we're also going to talk about do's and don'ts for carrying and just walking around in general that we compiled from criminals that are incarcerated. So I was very excited to read that article, and I wanted to share it with the public. So we're going to go over some of those to teach you a couple of things to try to keep you safe.
Awesome.
And keep you aware and how to avoid danger. So I'm very excited about this show. So a little bit about us. So again, I'm Jillian, and this is my partner, Shad, and we own Mad Dog Armory. We own 2 retail stores and training centers. We are very passionate about education and teaching people in the community and keeping our community safe.
Yep.
We're definitely very focused on the education portion, getting people into the right firearm. We started Mad Dog because of the different types of stores that are out there. Gun shows have a bad rap of being, good old boy places, not being very friendly, potentially talking down.
Newbies, stuff like that.
Yeah, and I honestly don't think people, maybe the gun shops, the people mean to be rude or condescending. It's just somebody that's very experienced talks very naturally about blah, 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 you should have this, and it's like, but that person has no idea what you're talking about if they're new. So it's kind of intimidating for that newbie. So we wanted to create an atmosphere that was friendly and welcoming, so our gun shops smell good and they're organized and they're clean, and nobody will ever talk down to you or make you feel stupid. Yes, please let us know. You can contact us directly and let me know, because they'll immediately be let go. If not sooner. All right, so anything to add on our locations? I mean, they were up on the screen, so you can definitely visit us. And
yeah, we're going to be going to 7 days a week.
Oh, in Tampa.
In Tampa here, March-ish, something like that, pretty soon here. So yeah, we're working on getting staff ramped up and able to provide you guys our services 7 days a week.
Yes, so we will
So-
definitely announce that when we're ready for it, but we are staffing up to be able to do that 7 days a week because right now we're closed Sunday and Monday in our Tampa location, and it's been asked for, so we're going to make that happen for you guys.
Yep.
All right, so you are responsible for your safety, your situational awareness.
Right.
It's very important for you to be able to defend yourself. A lot of times with couples, the females are, or even the males, are like, hey, we don't, she's carrying or he's carrying and I don't need to, but that's not necessarily the case.
Right.
Especially in like a home invasion or something like that. Who's the first person that's usually going to wake up and go to the threat? It's usually going to be the male, potentially. I'm generalizing, but usually it's the male. And so I tell the females, you have to know how to get to that gun that you have for self-defense and get to it for home defense. And know how to use it.
Right.
Because you can't have the safety on and not know how to take the safety off when seconds count. So you're going to be the one that's going to be defending your family if your husband goes down to the threat.
Right. And ultimately, I mean, one thing, if you know there's a threat in the home, I don't necessarily recommend going to seek the threat. If you truly know there's a threat there, do call 911, right? If you need to hunker down and wait for them to come to you, because when you go to look for it, there might be more than what you're anticipating when you find it. And it's not necessarily going to be the best outcome, potentially. So if you can, hunker down, call 911, and if you have one entry into your bedroom or something like that, you're able to at least cover that. You can have cover.
Sure.
So there's lots of options. So you don't necessarily have to go look. If you truly know there's a threat, that may not necessarily be the best thing.
Yeah, it's all situational, of course, but I'll tell you, honey, I'm going to come after you. I'm going to come after them if they come after you. I'm going to it. I'm going to
Absolutely.
it. But it is a very good idea to call 911, of course, and get them on their way. But unfortunately, it takes a little bit of time for law enforcement to get there, so you need to kind of be prepared. Is the point, right?
Have a plan.
Have a plan.
So if you come into the shops, we can help you out with plans as well, because you really do need to have a plan on what's going to happen. If you have kids, if you have other people in the house, you really need to know, and they all need to know what needs to happen when something like that occurs.
Sure. Absolutely. Great advice.
Oh, nailed it.
Great advice. So no matter what the weapon, not just guns, it could be fists, it could be knives, it could be whatever is near you. I just did a speaking engagement with ladies over 55. I think the average age was probably like around 70-ish. And there's no way that these ladies would be able to handle it. The criminal would take that item away. So I taught them, you go in the bathroom, go into whatever room you have, and you lock yourself in there and grab whatever you can.
Right.
An iron, a scissor, like whatever is in the bathroom, like look around and see what you can use to defend yourself in that situation and fight like hell. So no matter what it is, definitely find whatever means necessary.
Right.
But back to our topic, if you are carrying in the state of Florida, do you need to have your concealed?
Yes and no. Depends on how you're carrying.
Okay.
Right? So ultimately, if you want to conceal carry on your person or in your vehicle, yes, you can still carry a firearm in your vehicle or in your home or on your property without having a concealed weapons license. But if you are going to conceal carry a firearm, you will need to have a concealed weapons license.
Correct. And 34 states require a permit or a license in order to conceal. 34 states require a permit in order to conceal carry, and they have constitutional carry.
Correct. Constitutional carry is just your right to carry a firearm. Now, constitutional carry is
permitless.
Open carry,
Oh.
not concealed carry.
Okay.
Now, they might do both, but open, when we talk about constitutional carry, that is your right to bear arms and to open carry.
So 16 states have some sort of form of permitless constitutional carry. So constitutional carry is defined as permitless, basically. So permitless carry means there's no permit required. There may be age requirements or some, restrictions or something like that,
And again,
but it's determined by the state.
Right, and it may be open carry or concealed carry or both, but it's whatever they define as that.
Correct.
So.
Because in the state of Florida, you can open carry under only certain circumstances. I mean, there's only a few.
Fishing, camping,
On your own property.
your own property or your own business.
Yeah, there are a few other ones, but the
Right.
most common are those that we go over for open carry. But definitely check with your state specifically, and if you're not in the local area, and definitely find out what is required for you to conceal carry or to carry defensively, like what we're going to cover today in these concealed carry guns.
Right.
So like I mentioned last week's show, we did talk about silencers. Shad did a fantastic job with that. We also talked about love and sex because it was because it was Valentine's Day last week, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And it was really interesting to find out that shooting or going to the range releases the same endorphins as if you were actually having sex.
Intercourse.
So it was pretty interesting. I actually had a student last night that I told that she had the biggest smile on her face. And I was like, you have that big smile on your face. It might be because you just released the same endorphins as having sex. And she was like, what? So it was really funny. So I love that. So last week's show was great.
Yep.
But tonight, let's get into that. Like I said, the do's and don'ts, popular concealed carry guns. And then also this past week, Monday was President's Day.
Yes.
So unfortunately, our president...
Brandon had some shit to say.
He did, didn't he? We
Yeah.
saw a clip that was just shocking.
Yeah.
And I really want to touch on that really quick. It's a short clip. And, our president's approval ratings are in the toilet, no matter what side you're on. There's no doubt that we're having some issues here in America. And, the supply chain issues, the price of gas. Oh,
Yep.
my gosh. It's like going to be $4 a gallon soon, they're saying.
Unfortunately, the stuff going on in Ukraine isn't helping out at all. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not great. I wanted to touch on this video. It's unbelievable, and we'll address it. It's like 15 seconds long, so we're going to go ahead and play that, and then we'll address it after. So let's cue that up if you're ready.
The future's cut short by a man with a stolen Glock with 40 rounds, a magazine with 40 rounds, and it's really a weapon of war.
All right, so let's touch on this real quick. Shocking. I mean,
So everything is going to be a weapon of war. I mean, reality, right? A truck. If you look at what's being used in Afghanistan and some other places, they use Toyota trucks. So a Toyota truck is a weapon of war as far as Joe Biden is concerned.
Well, we talked about in a previous episode, don't talk about things that you don't know.
Yeah.
You got to do some research on things. I mean, I research for this show. I want to make sure that we're not saying things that aren't true. And this is one of the many examples of Joe Biden saying things that are not true. So Glock 19, the Glock manufacturer makes a Glock 19, most popular handgun pretty much in the world.
Yep.
And I brought mine with me today. It is the Glock 19 Gen 5. It's clear. The Glock 19, most popular handgun in the world, comes with 3 15-round magazines, which equal 45 rounds. So Joe Biden just said that the most popular handgun in the world for Americans, right, and beyond, this Glock 19, everybody that has one has a weapon of war.
Right.
I mean, what?
The fuck?
Bing bong?
Bing bong.
Fuck your
Fuck your
life.
life, for sure. I mean, come on now. It's just unbelievable. And the other part that I find interesting about that video is he starts with the stolen gun. So the point of that entire thing that he should have made was that the criminal who got the gun illegally is the problem, not the round capacity that he had. Because I'm thinking to myself as he's talking, he's going to try to ban 40-round mags or 30-round mags or a capacity of 15 or more, whatever he's going to try to ban on law-abiding citizens because of a criminal. So again, we got to just bring it back to the whole point that it was a criminal. He stole the gun or however he got it illegally, and it has nothing to do with the capacity of the magazine. It has nothing to do with the firearm itself. It has to do with the criminal.
The weapon of war is the criminal.
Correct.
That's
Nailed
the
it.
weapon of war.
Nailed it.
I mean, it's just that simple.
Yeah.
So if somebody could please put it on his teleprompter or just inform
He's just like
him.
Ron Burgundy. He'll read anything off the teleprompter.
I mean, give him my number. I mean, I'm all about it. Send him this tactical talk. Like, please share it with the White House, because ultimately it was shocking to me and I
Yeah.
just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
okay. I also did a little research on the Glock 19, of course. The Secret Service carry, most popular carry for the Secret Service are Glocks. And so it's okay for them to protect him,
Sure.
but not to protect my family with a Glock 19 with 45
Almost
rounds.
sounds like a tyrannical government starting to come about.
Yes. Insane.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's my take on that. Our take.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's absolutely crazy. And the thought process, I can't comprehend it. I guess I can understand because they do have an agenda and they want to meet that agenda. So they say things like this in order to get an uprising from people that it's crazy. It
Yeah.
really is. Again, criminals are criminals, period. Why are we taking it easy on criminals?
Right.
Why are we making it easier? Why are you defunding the police? Why are you trying to make things more difficult for the police? In
Right.
order, I mean, people just have no respect for police anymore. It's insane.
Right.
It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree completely. So great point for sure. All right, so getting into our topic for the day, I want to have enough time to go through these guys. We brought like the most popular guns for concealed carry that are on the market right now. Get a pen and paper so you can kind of jot down pros and cons, or of course you can always rewatch it because it's digital. But guns.
It's a vlog.
A vlog. I know. I really learned something today. I love it. So get a pen and paper, rewatch, but guns are like cars. That's what I tell people. So basically, it's different for everybody. It's a personal choice.
Sure.
Whether it's the manufacturer, the features it has, the model, the caliber, no matter what it is, it's a
Right.
personal choice. So we're going to go over some different things here and ultimately do your research. We definitely recommend you going into a gun shop and actually feeling, touching, and actually holding the gun, because hand size makes a difference.
Sure.
Your experience and level, all that stuff. You don't want to just take somebody's advice and,
Right.
oh, my brother told me to get a Glock, 20.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Right? It's a good place to start potentially. So having somebody kind of give you an idea of what to look for isn't a bad idea. But you want to put stuff into your hands and see what it feels like, because reality is whatever fits in your hand well. Most of the time, most of these firearms that we're going to have here are all going to perform very, very, very similarly.
Yes.
So they're going to be extremely reliable. They're going to have the same amount of recoil or kickback. So
Yeah.
it really is what feels good to you.
Absolutely.
And again, Jillian kind of equated it to cars. I like to equate it to whether it's shoes or screwdrivers, right? Because these things are tools. So different tools, for different things. So it's kind of the same thing. Same thing with a firearm, right? These are carry firearms. They're small. They're compact.
Yes.
We try to make it easy as we can to carry.
Absolutely, yes. And we also brought some holster options, so we're going to go over those as well. Holsters, again, is a personal choice, what you wear, what weather climate you're in.
Yeah.
Is it an open carry state, so you're going to want it outside the waistband. So we're going to go over outside, inside, shoulder holsters, belly bands, all different kinds of holsters that you can potentially have. And you may have multiple holsters for the same firearm, depending on what you're wearing. I'll have
Right.
people that say, what's your favorite holster? And I'll say, it depends on what I'm wearing. Am
Sure.
I wearing a skirt? Am I wearing jeans with a belt? Am I
Right.
wearing yoga pants? It really does depend on what you're wearing to what holster you should be utilizing that's comfortable for you.
Absolutely.
So let's get started. I want to go over, I want to compare the Springfield Armory Hellcat to the SIG P365, which is this guy here. The 365 and the Hellcat are two of the most popular handguns in our shop that we sell,
Yeah.
a lot of these
Yeah.
guys. So what is the difference, the main difference is just by looking at the firearm? And I want to see basically the size difference. Can you close that? I want to
They
put
are
it
very, very, very similar in size. So if we take them like this and kind of
okay. There you go.
This way, they're the same. Height-wise, they're the same. And then we get into,
Yes.
they're pretty much identical.
Identical.
So
they're just made by different manufacturers.
correct.
So-
SIG was first on manufacturing. Ultimately, what SIG did several years ago, the head of SIG told his development team he wanted a small, compact 10-round magazine.
and there
So
it is.
They made this. So a little double-stack magazine that just is tiny.
So tiny.
Yep.
Yeah, and usually magazines that hold 10 rounds are a lot bigger. They're a
Correct.
lot thicker.
Yep.
They're considered double stack. So would you
Right.
consider this a double stack?
It is a double stack gun.
Oh, it's considered a double stack.
It
Okay.
absolutely 100% is considered a double stack.
Okay.
But then once they created this, they then told them to create a gun to go around it. So now they have a small, compact, concealed carry gun that used to be the size of a single stack gun.
Yes.
I mean, our capacity was with a 9mm, 6, 7, 8 rounds.
Yes.
With big extensions on it potentially.
Sure.
And now we're at 10 or even 12 rounds in a much smaller compact size.
Correct.
So,
Yeah, it's really a great option because, like Shad said, concealed carry guns, the small ones that are really concealable, which is what you want. You want the smallest, most compact gun that you can get with the
Right.
most capacity,
Yep.
right? So ultimately, SIG and Springfield Armory kind of nailed it with these two, and that's why they're so popular.
Yep,
Because
extremely
having
popular.
10 and 13 rounds in a package this size is
Right.
really phenomenal. So ultimately, you're really going to, the differences, and these are both 9mm.
They are 9mm.
Do they come in any other caliber?
So SIG Sauer just released the SIG Sauer P365 380.
Yep.
So
We
that
haven't-
was this week. We're getting a couple of them in. We're literally getting one per store in.
Okay, awesome.
So they will be gone very, very quickly.
And Springfield Armory does not have that yet.
They do not have a Hellcat in 380 yet.
Okay.
That's correct.
Perfect. So basically, the two, you really just have to feel them. There's a little more stippling, I feel like, on the Hellcat grip.
Yeah, and when she
Would you
talks about
say?
stippling, it's this grip portion of the gun. You can see on the screen. That's
more
got a little
aggressive.
bit more of a sandpaper-ish style, as opposed to the SIG is a little bit not as aggressive.
Right.
So yeah.
And the sights on the Hellcat, I really like the U shape on the rear sight, and they have a very bright green front.
Yep.
So it's very easy to acquire your sight picture. SIG does make a couple of different versions of the 365.
They do.
Including the SAS version, which is great because
That
it's
has
an
a-
anti-snag.
Yep.
Snag?
Anti-snag.
Anti-snag. I just channeled my sister-in-law.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's a shad.
Shad.
Shad snag.
Yeah, it's the whole Midwest thing. Anyway, so back to the
SAS,
show. Yeah, the
SAS
SIG,
version.
SIG anti-snag.
Yeah.
And what that has, that actually has a Meprolite bullseye sight mounted inside the slide. It's actually really, really neat on how it
Very
functions.
neat. So how the sights protrude out of the slide, they're actually integrated into
the slide.
Into the slide. I said slide, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
couple times.
Okay. So into the slide, so it doesn't snag when you
Yep.
draw it.
Yep.
So
cool.
it's very cool, and you definitely need to check out the different models because there's several different models of the 365
Yep.
And versions of it with different kinds of sights and
different
different
colors,
features,
different
colors.
sizes. Yep. Yep.
Different ones come with different mag capacity and things
Correct.
like that. So it does come in the FDE, which I like.
The Hellcat also comes in FDE as
Really?
well.
Okay, cool. I didn't know that.
Manual safety, no manual safety on both of them.
Okay.
So there are lots of different options. The SIG, you also have an XL, which gives you a longer slide if
Right.
you're looking for something like that. But
Yep.
yeah, you definitely have a couple different iterations.
Yeah, those two are great options for concealed carry because of the capacity, like I said, and the size of it. So
Yep.
really great.
Yep.
All right, cool. And we'll be getting our hands on a 380, 365, hopefully, very soon.
If not, it should be this week,
Okay.
this
Perfect.
coming week.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great option.
Yep.
All right, the next two that we're going to show you are going to be the brand Glock. Okay, so Glock, the manufacturer, does not make any guns with a safety. Is that correct?
Correct.
So no
They have
manual,
no external
external.
manual safety. All of their safety is going to be internal inside of the slide and frame, and then you have a trigger safety.
Right.
So
So there
380
are
safeties.
safeties inside, but a lot of people that aren't, familiar with firearms, and they'll come in and they'll say, oh, I have to have a safety on my gun. I have to have an external safety that I can put on and off. And ultimately don't realize that the gun manufacturers do put internal safeties into the firearm. So we
Right.
definitely want to tell you about that. But,
Yep.
but Glocks are known to be very reliable. They're
Yeah.
very, very popular, like I mentioned earlier in the segment.
They're like Volvos. They're boxy, but good.
Yes, yeah, and I'm a big Glock fan for sure. They're just easy to use. I don't have any jams, and
Right.
I just feel very comfortable.
Malfunctions.
Okay, malfunctions. So the two that we brought today are the 380 version, and we tried to do that on most of the ones that we're comparing. The 380 version is the Glock 42. It comes with 2 mags.
2 6-round mags.
Two six-
Actually, they're both flush, so they both do not have pinky extensions. This particular one
Has it because
does
it's our
have it.
personal.
Correct.
Yeah, so we actually took it out of our safe. But yeah, they do come with the flush, and what he means by that is it's a flush instead of having that little pinky when you're gripping
yeah,
it.
down there.
It gives you a little more.
Yep.
I do have like bigger hands for a girl, so it makes it a lot easier. Yeah, on your screen is the flush. So it makes it a little easier for people that have bigger hands or fatter fingers or whatever
Right.
to be able to grip that smaller firearm and not have their pinky kind of falling off of
Right.
it. So the Glock 42 is the 380 version. They call it a baby Glock.
Yeah, it's the smallest Glock that they make. And the funny thing is size-wise, this is very, very, very comparable in size to the first two that we looked at.
Correct.
The
And that's a
Springfield
single
Armory
stack.
Hellcat,
yes.
and the SIG P365. So as opposed to 11 rounds and 10 rounds of 9mm, this is 6 rounds of 380.
Correct. It is lighter
It is.
in weight,
Yep.
which
And
I like.
With the
because
380, a little bit less recoil as well.
Correct.
So, yeah.
Because the round is a little bit smaller. So let's talk about that real quick.
Sure.
So the 380 and the 9mm, I know they're very similar.
They're similar this way, so they're exactly the same
In
around, so circumference. So technically they're both 9mm around.
Okay.
So then we just talk about height, and that's where you get into a little heavier bullet in a 9mm, and a little bit more powder, so a little bit more accelerant. So the 380 is going to have a little smaller projectile in overall weight, and then a little bit less propellant behind it, so it's going to be moving a little bit slower.
Okay. I was just going to ask you that. So the difference in the powder, it makes it move faster with more powder it has, potentially.
Ultimately, yeah, so more powder, even though you have a larger projectile, that more powder is now going to provide more propellant to get that projectile moving a little bit faster.
Right.
So,
And it's not by much, though, right? I mean, I mean, looking at the two next to each other, it's not that huge of a difference.
Correct.
Yeah, because a
Correct.
lot of people will say, oh, don't get a 380, that's too small. And I'm like, it's so similar.
and again, it gets into a personal preference,
It is,
and
it
we
is.
talk about this stuff, and it gets into the FBI does a lot of research and development regarding projectiles and what their requirements are in order to stop a threat. So they need and are looking for a particular amount of penetration.
Oh,
That's a good word. So they always look for a good amount of penetration in order to stop a threat, in order to hit vital organs. Because ultimately, if you are aiming or having to hit somebody from a side, you need to be able to get through this
the way through.
area in order to get to here. Not as bad if you're going straight on.
Sure.
But that's not always the case.
absolutely.
So,
Correct.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. So the Glock 42 is the 380 version. It's the baby Glock, they call it. It's the smallest, most compact, very light. And although we talked about, that it's very similar in size to the 365 and the Hellcat,
Yep.
it's much lighter.
Correct.
Which is why I like it, because it's lighter. Even when it's loaded, it's lighter. Because remember, the more capacity you have, the heavier it is. So if you have 10 and 13 rounds in your firearm, it makes it
Correct.
a huge difference between having 6 rounds and 13 rounds.
And it also
Makes
depends
a
on
lot
the
heavier.
ammunition you're using, right?
Correct.
Because ultimately,
Correct.
so going forward, we're going to start having a drinking game. Because I, after watching the last couple of shows, I realized that I say right a lot. So if you ever
That's okay.
hear me say right, have a drink.
Well, we're going to have a counter, I think, next week, too.
Yeah,
so
we
we'll have a
will.
little surprise for
Yeah.
that.
And then
I
I'll
say,
really see how many times I say it.
And I
'cause
say
it's-
a lot, too. But I'm also
all good.
trying to, I know why I do it, but regardless. So you're going to have some alcohol with you
Right.
next show.
Absolutely.
And we'll get you drunk, too.
There you go.
All
Back
right,
to the show.
So back to the show. All right, so that was the 380 version. So
Yep.
now we're going to talk about the Glock carry that's very popular right now in 9mm, which is the 43X.
X. So they do make a 43, and the 43 is going to be the same size slide, so it's going to be the same length, same width. So everything's going to be the same here. It's going to be the same here. The difference is going to be literally through the grip.
The grip
so
length.
it's got a little bit longer grip, and then the grip's going to be a little bit wider as well.
Okay.
So it is considered a hybrid double stack.
Okay.
So it's kind of like these other guys. This is the new craze, but it does allow for 10 rounds of capacity. Shield Arms is an aftermarket company that has created metal mags that you can use in these that now give you 15 rounds of capacity, which is pretty...
Wow.
So it's the same capacity as your Glock 19
Yes.
in this package.
Right. And just to show you the magazine, so when we talk single stack, double stack, it's literally the stacking of, it's literally the stacking of the ammunition. Yep.
Yep. So this is a traditional double
Double stack.
stack, and this is what we call the hybrid double stack. So you can see it's a little bit, it's not as wide. So with it not being as wide, those rounds can't sit
Correct.
this way. They sit more like this, so you can only...
On an angle, yeah.
You only have so many you can fit in there. With the Shield Arms, what they did is they made a metal magazine. So since the polymer has to be a little bit thicker, it doesn't give as much room for that stacking. So now that stacking can get a little bit more sideways. So now you're able to you're able to fit another 5 extra rounds.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yes.
I like that you gave us that little tip.
Yes.
So currently in this configuration, what does the 43X? How
10
many
rounds. 10 rounds of coming directly from Glock.
Of
It's 10 rounds.
9mm, yes.
2 magazines. They do make 2 different versions of this. They make what they call the MOS, which is Modular Optic System. That is Glock's way of putting on a red dot
Which
onto
we
the
talked
small
about
concealed carry
in a
gun.
previous,
Yep.
I think it was 2 maybe.
Episode 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where we
episode 2.
talked about different red dots and different sites. So that's a great one to also
Yep.
watch because you'll learn about the red dots that can be put on.
That particular Hellcat also is ready for
Yep.
optics.
Yep.
SIG has 365s that are ready for optics. So yeah, most of the companies are making these style guns optics ready as well.
Correct. And as we mentioned in previous, you can get the one with the optic ready, and you don't have to get the optic until
Later.
you're actually ready.
Yep. That's
Optic ready. Get it? Okay. All right. So 43X is Glock's for 9mm, pretty compact. The 43 is going to be the shorter grip.
6 rounds.
6
'cause
rounds.
It is a single stack, so it's going to be 6 rounds of capacity as opposed to the 10 rounds of capacity.
Correct.
So.
Perfect.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. On to Ruger. So Ruger makes an Lcp Max.
That's
Which,
their newest version of the LCP.
correct. So they have the traditional, this guy, oh, just my mic. This guy here.
Yep, that is the LCP Max.
All right. And then I'm going to give you the 9 here.
Yep, thank you.
All right, so the Ruger LCP Max is Ruger's newest concealed carry, very, very small concealed carry gun in 380.
Right.
It is very compact and holds
10 rounds.
10 rounds
Of
in this
380.
little tiny package. And
Yeah.
it is very light.
Very
And
phenomenal.
it's really, I mean, it's really great.
Yeah.
So very excited about this. I had the traditional, I was carrying the traditional LCP 2 with the 6-round mag in it. So this, I still carry
7-round
this.
mag.
Oh, sorry, 7-round.
Yep, that's got the extension 7 rounds.
Yes. And so, and actually 1 in the chamber, so it's 8.
Yep.
But this is very, very small too. So look at the difference, if you can see, between these two. I mean, not much wider at all.
They're actually, the slide is the same. So slide height, slide width is the same between both.
It's the grip.
Yep. Yep.
Turn it around.
You can look at the back side. So the back strap's going to be a little bit wider in the double stack.
Yep.
They have the same style triggers in both of them. They did upgrade the sights again.
Yes.
So each iteration, they keep upgrading the sights because people keep complaining about it. So
Correct, and I can see on the Max, which is great, that they made them higher, so you can kind of see them, because in the LCP2s, they're lower and they're more flush with the slide, so
they're
it's kind of
integrated
hard
with
to.
the slide.
Okay.
Yep. And these are not integrated.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
These you can actually change.
Okay.
So they use
Fantastic.
the same footprint, thank goodness, as one of the next ones we're going to talk about. So the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard.
Yes.
So they use the same
Footprint.
footprint for
Yes.
their sights.
I love that these are changeable because a lot of people that carry the smaller, they call them subcompact or
Micros or
micro.
micro compacts,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, the micro compact carry guns are the sights, are stationary. You can't change them, and they're
Yep.
hard to see. So it's really great that they did that. I didn't
Give you
I
some
didn't realize
options,
that.
right.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
Yep.
So it's a 380 version. So that's going to be the smaller caliber,
Yep.
and then Shad's holding the 9mm Ruger Max 9.
Correct. Yep.
Also very popular for concealed carry.
Correct.
Optics ready.
This one is optics ready, so we got a couple of screws on top, so that lets us know that.
And does it come not optics ready and optics ready?
No, it
Only.
does not. All of
Okay.
them are optics ready, so they actually did it very, very intelligently, unlike Springfield Armory, who did two different versions with a different retail cost of like $20 or $30, which is
Yeah.
stupid.
Oh.
If you're watching, stupid.
Oh, well, now they
Just
know.
saying, yeah.
All right, so some features on the Ruger Max 9, capacity,
10 rounds.
10 rounds.
So again, 10 round double stack magazine.
Okay.
It also are able to get 12 rounders as well.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
with a little
fantastic.
extension. Yep.
Yeah, very compatible to the Springfield Hellcat,
Yep.
the SIG 9. So again, they're coming out with these, and everybody's getting on board, right? All
Yep.
the different manufacturers.
And
so
we're
SIG
calling them
started
hybrid double stacks just
Yes.
for the fact that they are usually what used to be a single stack size gun is now a double stack size gun.
Exactly.
So
And
hybrid
it's-
double stack, they are true double stacks, but
It's really
yeah.
great. I
It's
mean,
phenomenal.
it really is
Phenomenal.
smart. Phenomena. It really is smart of them
Yeah.
to do it. SIG was the first. They started it, and
Yep.
then it just snowballed from there. All the different manufacturers were like,
Right.
okay, this makes sense, right?
It
I
was
mean, it
selling
really
like
does.
hotcakes. So yeah, it made lots of dollar cents
Sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
Dollar
So-
cents?
Dollar cents. Made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Not sure where the dollar came from.
Dollar change, dollar
Thinking about
cents, dollar-
strippers? Like, what's happening there? All right. So Ruger Lcp Max, the 380.
Yep.
And then the Ruger Max 9 is the 9mm version. Okay. All right, perfect. So those are some great options by Ruger.
Yep.
And then our final
Contestant.
contestant is
Come
going to be
on
Smith &
down.
Wesson. So Smith & Wesson got on board as well. Smart. Their 380 version, the Shield Plus, is that the Plus?
No, this is not. So the
Okay.
380 is going to be the Bodyguard. The
Okay.
Shield Bodyguard. This they've had out for quite some time.
Sorry, I had it backwards. Yes,
Yep.
Smith & Wesson Bodyguard.
Yep, so they've had this out for quite some time, the Bodyguard.
Yes.
It is like the LCP2 in a single stack.
Correct.
So it is 6 rounds of capacity, 1 in the chamber, so 7 rounds
Yes.
overall.
Yep.
This particular one does have a laser
Yes.
built into the grip.
And it came from the factory like that.
It
It's
did
not
come from the
aftermarket.
factory. They do have some that are aftermarket, so it's going to be a little bit thinner through this area,
Sure.
but they do have some that you can do aftermarket lasers and lights and
yes.
stuff. So
Yep.
yes.
And again, we did talk about that in episode
Yeah.
2.
But again, very small, compact,
Very
makes
small.
it very, very, very easy to carry regardless of where you're at. Especially we live in the
Florida.
gunshine state, right? Florida.
Hot.
It is pretty much always, we live in paradise, so shorts and t-shirts a lot. So it really makes it a little bit more difficult to conceal carry something. This you
Here.
can just throw in your pocket.
Sure.
And we'll show you some of the holster options that makes it very, very simple to do that.
Really
So,
simple. There
yep.
should be no excuse for not being comfortable.
Right.
And that's why we're doing this, because we want you to see all the different options that are out there. Because a lot of the old timers, I say old timers, but I love 1911s as well. But a 1911 isn't the best concealed carry gun.
Correct.
So, of course, 1911s are awesome. I have a collection. I love them.
Right.
However, I don't conceal carry a 1911. So,
Yep.
there are a few smaller guns that are kind of like the 1911, but we didn't bring those, so we're not going to talk about those.
Yep.
So, definitely, these are great options. So, the Smith & Wesson made the Bodyguard in 380,
Yep.
and then the 9mm is the Shield Plus.
Right. Currently, so they originally came out with the Shield, and now again the hybrid double stack. So this is now the Shield Plus. So in this particular configuration, this is 13 rounds of 9mm. They also have a flush 10 rounder
Yes.
that you get. So you get one of each in the package for this particular gun.
Okay.
This does come, you can get with and without a manual safety. So this does have a manual safety on it. You can also get one without a manual safety. On their safety versions, one thing that I do like about theirs is it's not very intrusive. So it's not really easy to activate and not really easy to deactivate. You really have to want to do it.
Right.
Whereas most of these other manufacturers, when they put safeties on them, it's very easy to potentially activate it when you're in the middle of shooting, which could be bad.
And on the other side of that, I know what they're thinking, because
Sure.
you want it to be easy to get on and off for
Right.
that safety. You want to be able to pop that safety off quickly,
Right.
but it also, when you're in the middle of when you have your grip and you're shooting, your thumb tends to hit it and then it'll put it on or take,
And in a high stressless situation, something like that happens, and you don't know why your gun isn't going off. That's
Sure.
the last thing you want to happen.
Right. So there's pros and cons to it, but I do
Correct.
100% understand what you're saying, because
Absolutely.
ultimately I don't like how flush the Bodyguard safety is.
Same
I
thing,
can't.
yeah.
I don't even use it, even though it has it, because I can't even, it's so flush. I can barely get my nail in to
Very
put it on and
difficult,
off.
yeah.
But it's also good so I don't hit it when it's
Accidentally.
Right.
Yeah. And
So-
again, plus minus, and you
Yes.
have to figure out what's good for you. Don't let anybody tell you what you should or shouldn't use. It's a comfort level. It's your decision. You need to make it.
Correct. So, all right. So that's the Smith & Wesson. Thank you.
Shield
Bodyguard and
Plus.
Shield Plus. The
Correct.
Shield Plus is the 9.
Yep.
So with all of that said, what do you think the top 2 trending guns are for 2020 and 2021? What's your guess?
Well, so 2020, 2021, that kind of leaves a bunch of them out. So I'd have to say the SIG P365 and the Springfield Armory Hellcat.
Half right. So the 2 most popular handguns in 2021 and 2022 combined was the Glock 19 and the SIG 365,
Gotcha.
P365. So
I thought we were
yes.
talking about these guns, but nonetheless,
Oh,
still, no,
okay.
all good.
Valid, valid.
Because some of these guns weren't even out then, so that's why it made that a little bit easier.
Right, yeah. The
They're behind.
2022 isn't out yet, so
Sure.
the top ones. But I'm sure you will be correct in 2022, 21,
Well,
22.
The LCP Max, huge. I mean, it really is a game changer. I mean, the capacity and how small. Even the LCP2 was really, really good, but now you up the capacity, and it really makes it so easy. You can wear basketball shorts, you can wear anything, and you literally just throw it into your pocket and go.
It is light. It holds 10,
In that configuration, 10. Yep.
and it has an extended.
You can do an extended mag that's 12.
I mean, 12 rounds in the size of this gun is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, these fly off the shelves. And yeah, it's phenomenal.
Absolutely. Phenomenal.
Phenomena. All right, cool. Well, you are tuned into Tactical Talk with Mad Dog Armory, and I'm Jillian, and this is Shad. If you're just joining us, we are talking about concealed carry firearms, pistols, clearly.
Yep. Semi-autos.
Semi-autos, and the most popular ones, the ones that are selling like hotcakes, the pros and cons, which really ultimately with these guys, we didn't really talk about any cons because there really
Right.
aren't any on
There's
these.
lots of pluses, and ultimately it comes down to the style of gun you want to carry, right? The biggest thing, the biggest thing that you want to think about potentially is, are you able to manipulate a slide in order to deal with a semi-automatic? Or you might want to look at a revolver option, which we didn't bring any today. This is more the new higher capacity semi-automatics.
Correct.
So,
Yep,
yeah.
absolutely. I want to get into the different types of holsters that are out there because
Cool.
we are talking concealed carry.
We brought a few, right? But
We brought a whole bunch.
Drink again. So there are a bunch of different options out there. There's all sorts of holster manufacturers, and we try to carry what we can in the shop.
Yes.
But we're not a holster store.
Correct.
And ultimately, in order to carry all the stuff people are looking for, you need to be a holster store, and it'd be a big ass store.
Yeah.
So
There's 4 basic styles of holsters. Now, there's a plethora, I haven't used that word in a while, plethora of different holsters. But we're going to go through the 4 basic styles.
Okay.
So material factors include, depends on what you're wearing, of course. I said that
Right.
earlier, but material can be nylon, it could be leather, it could be kydex, it could be suede, it could be cloth. So
Right.
there's lots of different kinds of material that
Right.
can compose your
and if
holster.
you're not familiar with what some of that stuff is, right? Kydex, right? Drink again.
Kydex, so I'm going to show you
is
Kydex.
plastic.
Yeah, so Kydex is a hard, plastic. It's usually molded to the actual firearm. It's going to be specific to that firearm
Most of the time.
most of the time.
So we do have a couple options in the shop that can handle a lot of different firearms, but more than not, it's very specific to the firearm.
Correct. So Kydex is going to be the hard plastic. Then you have your nylon, which is going to be nylon, clearly, and then leather, which you know what leather is. So that's going to make a difference with, the climate and things like that. So we're going to go through inside the waist, outside the waist.
Okay.
So if you see IWB, that's inside the waistband.
Right.
If you see OWB, then that's going to be outside the waistband, right? So a lot of times people are like, what's an IWB, right?
Yep.
Then there's also harness style, meaning belly bands, right? So those are the ones that stay on your body, which I'm a huge fan of. And I conceal carry on an everyday basis so that's a skin colored one, which is great.
Yep.
Because if your shirt, comes up or something like that,
And they make
that's
them for
great.
men and women, right?
Absolutely.
They're going to be some more feminine style
Correct. So this is mine. Yep. So it's all black, but it is, I wear this every day. It's my everyday carry concealed holster because it's so comfortable. It stays on the body. I don't have to worry about if I'm wearing, a belt or, a dress or whatever I'm wearing. It doesn't matter because it stays on me.
Yep.
It's not hooking to anything on my clothing. So
Right.
I love the belly
It's
band.
breathable, right?
Correct.
So it's, in our climate, again, it's good. You want to try to make sure the stuff is breathable for a belly band for that style.
Sure, absolutely. The men's usually is a Velcro, so it'll fit multi-sizes,
Sure.
There are small, medium, large, all different, types, but it's going to be...
And then you're also going to have different size for different size
elastic.
guns, right? So we do have different size guns, so ultimately the height of these things are going to dictate maybe what kind of gun you can carry in it as well.
Correct. But belly bands are great. I know a lot of times, men are reluctant to wear a belly band. They think it's maybe girly or something, but
Right.
when I talk to men about belly bands, I just explain to them, do you ever wear basketball shorts? When you go to the gym, if you're just taking your dog for a walk, are you really wearing jeans with a belt? You want to be comfortable, and so
Right. And
belly
there
bands are
are
a great
some
option.
options. Sticky makes a holster that doesn't have a clip on it, so you don't necessarily have to have a belt.
Let's see what I have here.
but
So a
the
clip
Ruger one over
meaning,
there,
so a clip meaning this would be like on the inside the waistband holster. So the holster itself would go inside your pants.
And the
the
belt
clip,
is going to go through there over the belt.
Correct.
And that allows you, so when you go to pull the gun out, the holster doesn't
The holster
come with
stays
you.
and the
Right.
holster doesn't come out, or the gun doesn't come out. The other type is going to be your ankle holster.
Yep.
So the pros and cons of an ankle
We have one
holster.
over there, I think.
This one?
Yep.
It's drawing is time consuming. It's not all that popular with a ton of people, but if you're sitting a lot, an ankle holster is a good option.
Sure.
Like if you're in an office.
If you're
or
wearing
something.
pants, right, something
Sure.
that has a little bit more flair to it, maybe some bell bottoms or something like that, depending, again, what are you wearing, right?
Correct.
So, drink again. So, it's, holsters you will end up with multiple holsters. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it.
Yes.
And you should have multiple holsters.
Yes.
Because the reality of trying to find something that's going to do all holster is almost impossible.
Correct.
So...
Absolutely. And the same thing with the gun. I know these new types of styles of guns that have that higher capacity. What are you
Right.
calling them? What are we calling them?
The hybrid double stacks.
Hybrid double stacks. You can carry them, but again, that weight, because I do have a 365 and I have a 13 round mag in it. And let me tell you, it
12 round.
weighs it.
One in the chamber.
Okay, 12 round mag, one in the chamber, 13 rounds. When I have the 13 rounds in the gun and I'm carrying it, it's heavy,
Yeah.
especially if I put it in a purse or a bag or whatever. It definitely weighs it down a lot.
Absolutely.
So you may have multiple guns for different uses and multiple holsters for the same firearm.
Right. And they are coming out, there's ammunition out there nowadays. So again, we talk about grain weight, and grain weight is how big and heavy the projectile is. A typical 9mm round is 115 grains. They are making grain weights that are smaller. So 65, 75, 85 grains, which is more similar to the size of a 380. So that reduces that weight when you start adding that more capacity. So that
Sure.
can help out as well.
Absolutely, and that's a great point.
Right.
So I probably do need to look into that for the 365, but I think I'm using RIPs.
Which are a little bit lighter.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So, So we went over Kydex. We went over ankle. So
Inside the waistband.
correct.
Yep.
Inside the waistband, the different materials, but ultimately, again, like we said earlier, it's beneficial to go into the shop, go into a
Absolutely.
gun store and try on the holsters. You can take them out of their packages usually. You can try them on. If there's a
Right.
bathroom, you can kind of put them on, put your gun in there, see if it's imprinting through, if it feels comfortable, if it's
Right.
kind of jabbing you. Kydex sometimes is, it's hard. So sometimes when you sit, it kind of is like digging in a little bit.
Yep.
So, so you're going to want to try them and make sure that you're getting the right fit for you.
Correct.
The last style that we're going to go over are undergarments. So they have all different kinds of undergarments now
Yes.
that you can conceal carry with. There's briefs for men, there's shorts, there's tank tops, there's leggings, there's thigh rigs, different things that you can basically carry where they're actually apparel, I
Yeah.
guess, right?
Yeah. Ultimately, garter you talked about,
The
right?
garter.
They make the garter one, which is really kind of sexy.
It's
Absolutely.
sexy
It's
and
really
cool. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You gotta be careful with those, ladies, because there's some that are like lacy and pretty, but they don't
They're not
hold your
functional.
gun. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not functional. Like I've tried them, and it's like it doesn't hold the gun properly. So you don't want your gun to fall out when you're bending over or anything
Right.
like that. So
Can makes a really, really good
Absolutely.
thigh holster. So
yeah, and that's the company that makes the one that I use all the time.
Correct.
It does have great features on it, so do your research on that for
Yep.
sure. So we went over the different types of holsters,
Right.
and you know what kind of leggings should never be worn in public?
nude.
Ever,
It goes
Never,
bad
ever
really fast.
wear nude leggings. This is a public service announcement. Nude leggings are terrifying. So when
Well,
you're
Not necessarily on every single one of those is it terrifying, but yes, it's terrifying.
not. Which one is not?
Hey, Rob, can you throw that back up?
Which one is not terrifying?
You tell me which one is not terrifying.
Where's, I don't, the second one? The purple?
Yeah, that's not necessarily
That's not terrifying?
That's not terrifying.
Huh. Yeah, I guess it's not bad.
Now, if you're sitting there, the thought process is, did you look in the mirror before you walked out of the house?
Well, maybe, don't wear nude
Exhibitionist?
leggings.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Bing bong? Don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, this one is amazing. I mean,
I
it's
know.
really, and that one, like the second lady in, I want to
Sure.
say the African-American lady, that one wasn't bad,
Right. But it's
still
wow.
bad. It's still bad, even though it's not, it's terrifying.
It doesn't leave much to the imagination, now does it?
Really, really
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Wow. No, that one's not. I mean,
Heavy on the wow.
she actually looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, not all are bad, but most of them
Yeah.
are. But
wearing that
that
in public
wasn't
is,
bad.
yeah, that's definitely a,
Yeah. And maybe
Yeah.
it's because it's dark, Maybe it's
Yeah,
just a
get-
darker
get your-
color.
yeah, get your
Maybe the
attention.
darker the color, the better, because black leggings usually aren't as bad. So,
Right. Yeah, the nude stuff definitely catches you off guard. It's like, is that person actually wearing any pants?
it's
Yeah,
terrifying.
It is.
To me. To me. All right, so don't wear those leggings, people. So I mentioned the do's and don'ts earlier in the segment that we were going to go over them. We're going to move quickly because we're running a little low on time, but I'm going to go through the top 4 things that criminals that were incarcerated talked about to give us tips on basically what
to do and what not to do.
exactly
right?
do's and
what
don'ts.
they're looking for.
Yep. So the first question is the top 4 reasons that make certain people appealing targets. And the right opportunity for the criminal to attack.
Right.
If you're walking alone is one of them. If you're wearing an expensive watch, if you're walking on a dark street, or if the person is flashing cash. So those were the
Right.
top 4 reasons where people become easy targets.
Yeah, ultimately it's situational awareness, right? Drink. It's one of those things that you kind of need to pay attention to what's going on around you. I know that we all live in this, microwave society now where everything has happened instantly. But yeah, we got to kind of pay attention to what's going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The second question was, which of the following scenarios would most likely cause you to end your robbery attempt? So when the attack is actually coming to an end, the most popular answer was 62%, that the criminal said if the person you're robbing has a gun, they're going to end.
Who would have thought that?
And then 40 to 50% said the person you're robbing screams or yells. And this is what I tell people all the time. No matter, draw attention. It's huge. If I hear, people are going to hear it, they're going to turn, they're going to look, and criminals don't want the attention.
Correct.
So scream and yell.
Scream like a girl, guys.
Yes, for sure. Like
Get attention.
Curse words, everything,
Whatever.
all that.
Anything you can do to draw attention to the situation.
All right, and then during a robbery attempt, would you be willing to kill or injure your intended victim? 47% said absolutely.
So
more
think
than
about it.
half.
They're willing to kill you. So
Absolutely.
be prepared.
And then the single one thing that finds it most attractive for a mugging, being alone, wearing expensive clothing, like I said, and being Caucasian. Being Caucasian. I mean, bing bong.
Yeah, that's
Seriously, like we're screwed.
pretty much.
And that's terrible that was it, but that is definitely one of the most popular answers that make you most attractive for mugging. So arm yourself, no matter the choice that you have here or other options that are
Absolutely.
available. Mad Dog Armory is more than happy to help you. Reach out to us. Stop into your local gun shop if you're not in our area. And we thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully you found this information intriguing.
Yeah. Share, please. Share.
Like and share.
Yeah, see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.